Hail, hail, the Celtics are here, and what the hell do we care now? It's the Champions League, McBride. We're here where our dreams are ready to maybe be made into reality or perhaps dashed on the rocks of reality. But before we get to kickoff, anything's possible, and that's what it's all about. And we're here to get set up for the game. McBride, hail, hail, good to see you.
Hail, hail. Looking forward to the game. Another big game. So yeah, fingers crossed we can get a positive result, stay in the group. You never know. A hard game, but yeah, we're all sort of saying that before the home game, so there we go.
That's it. And I think the home game definitely gave us a lot of optimism. You know, we didn't think when the group was made that the two games against Atleti would be games that we could actually get points out of, or we should be thinking when the group was made, oh yeah, we should be getting a point at home, and then when we go away, we can maybe think about something. Everyone was happy to write off the... Sorry, I've got the dog in with me today, and he's just getting in amongst all my wires. The home game really showed that we do have roots to goal against the elite in Europe, particularly against Atletico Madrid. And yeah, man, we have to do it the hard way. We said it last week. We dropped the points away at Feyenoord. We didn't get the result at home at Lazio. We have to go out in the Wanda and try and get one of those memorable results doing it the hard way. As we say, McBride. I don't know whether we should start with what Atletico did at the weekend or what we did at the weekend. We're at 67 viewers. Hail, hail. Love to see that. Drop the like button if you're watching us live. Get the luck in the bank, guys. Subscribe, like, share, retweet, all that good stuff. But McBride, what should we kind of look at first, do you think, before the teams come out?
Don't look at my Sorare teams at the weekend anyway. Matt O'Reilly sitting on the bench. That's one thing I don't want you to do. I obviously better start with Celtic. I mean, like, we rotated and we still got good positive result. So I think that there's loads of positives to take from performances recently as well, because we've had all the sort of hard away games out the way. I'm not saying obviously Ross County was a hard away game. We've been at all the sort of hard away grounds. We've played Champions League games. Really positive performance overall, and sort of using the squad and still managing to get a result, which is, you know, no mean feat when you're playing against teams like Ross County. People just look at it and say, that's Ross County, but you know, caused us some problems at home. First game of the season, scored a couple of goals, and thought they were pretty well organised, although Laidlaw's assertion that Ross County were unlucky, I mean, Celtic created a record for shots on goal, not necessarily on target, so I don't know how we can think that Ross County were unlucky, but yeah, loads of positives, I think, from that performance.
Well, Big Laidlaw had a performance of his own. 13 saves, 9 inside the box, 2 diving saves, and fair play to him. He definitely pulled his weight, earned his paycheck this week. No two ways about it. So we'll let him have his...
Lucky, though. It's just, they get hammered. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he was the difference between us being 3-0 and 5-0 or 7-0 or anything in between, you know. Yeah. But I think this game was clear to see, McBride, that Rodgers was looking at Tuesday night when he picked this team. Like you mentioned already, O'Reilly completely rested. Alistair Johnson completely rested as well. And we've seen a full change to the front three that played against St Mirren. Palma, Forrest, Kyogo all dropped off, and Maeda O and Yang all started this one. Couple that with the dilemmas in midfield, and really before the team comes out, it's anyone's guess, isn't it, who plays tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I know the play sharper stuff, I've kind of gone with 3 at the back. I just thought that's maybe a possibility because that's the way we finished the game at Parkhead. I felt Parkhead we played very well, but then we ran out of steam a wee bit, and the quality they had on the ball was sort of telling a wee bit in the second half, and then there was a sending off, but we didn't really have enough time to sort of open them up at that stage. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but if we do manage to get some points out of the game, then it leaves us in a position where we're not completely out of it, you know. So yeah, I think the aim's always got to be try and keep yourself in the group and for as long as possible, and even if it's just with a view to maybe winning the last game and staying in Europe after Christmas, like, it's still better than finishing bottom. And we played well. I mean, the annoying thing is, like, we could easily be sitting here having beat Lazio at home and been a lot more positive, because we really deserve better in that game. But that's the way it goes at the top level. It's, you're playing against good teams regardless of the draw. So.
Come on, Frank. New levels of negativity. Come on. We've not even had the final whistle. We've not even seen the team yet. Come on. I don't think it's going to be one of those nights at all. It was 2 weeks last time, you know, and it was very much a game that was up in the air. I normally watch Atletico Madrid every other kind of weekend or so. Not every weekend, certainly, but I definitely made sure I'll watch the game on Friday night as they went to Gran Canaria to play Las Palmas. And this was a bit of a difficult, we're going to Ross County, a bit of a difficult away game, but if any of you haven't been on holiday or anything like that to Gran Canaria, it's basically Africa. It's right off the coast of Morocco. It's a significant flight, even for the boys from Madrid. So they went away there Friday night. It was sweltering heat. If you watched the game, you could see how humid it was just by, the players' faces, just constantly covered in sweat or whatever. Las Palmas came out with a victory and a really good result. They played very well without being world beaters or anything. And again, they're just keeping Atletico Madrid. This Atletico Madrid team are not in amazing form at the moment. They're not fully fit and healthy. Rodrigo De Paul won't be playing against us tonight. He's suspended after the red card in Glasgow, of course. And their whole left wing back situation, there's a few different options that might happen there. And I know they've got Griezmann. We're always going to be worried about his quality. There's also got some veterans in this team that showed themselves in the first game. But again, looking at the result they've picked up at the weekend, they're not. It's not like before we played Feyenoord and Lazio and these types of teams, they were getting big results against big teams in their domestic league. Atletico Madrid, in this case, maybe we've found them at the best moment.
Yeah, maybe they were all in Veronica's on Friday night or something. They were all partying. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? I mean, even when Celtic drew against Hibs against the Atletico Madrid game, Feyenoord get turned over 2-1 away at 20 and things, and people were making a lot out of the fact that Celtic never beat Hibs, and I do get that because Celtic, you're expected to win every game, but it just shows you even the absolute top teams you would regard as better than Celtic, to be fair, are actually struggling in some of these fixtures as well with the games and the effort you put in. But anyway, back to tonight, they'll not be coming into the game full of confidence, and Celtic have just got to go and show the same sort of bravery on the ball and everything they had at Parkhead, and the atmosphere was good at Parkhead as well. I mean, I must say, there have been games where maybe the atmosphere has not been great from time to time, but we were at the game and the atmosphere was absolutely brilliant, and also because the team kind of gave you something to go at early doors. You got an early goal, everybody's all buzzing, it continues the atmosphere, and the first half was an absolutely brilliant performance. And previous seasons, with a great first half against Real Madrid and missed loads of chances, but what's nice now is you see Kyogo taking chances, you see Palma taking chances, so hopefully if we do get some chances tonight, then we actually put the ball in the back of the net and make a good game out of it. But at the end of the day, these are the games you want to be playing in the Champions League, etc. You want to test yourself against teams at the top level. So let's go and have a good go and see how we go on.
We're still waiting for the starting 11s to come out. I think that will really flavour a lot of the pre-match hype. We've got that fire in our bellies. We're saying we're waiting for the notification to come through for the starting 11. We've got a predicted 11 for Atletico, which is perhaps much changed. Obviously, we've got the suspension to RDP. They expect that, what's his name, Riquelme will come in from the start here. But there's also a shout that maybe Correa, Griezmann and Morata make up more of a front three and they play more of a 3-4-3 because they're at home. Wouldn't be surprised to see if this became just still Griezmann and Morata up top with maybe somebody like Llorente playing in midfield alongside Saul or something like this, something a bit more familiar. So it really depends on how adventurous Atleti think they need to be to win this game based on, facing us in the first game. And, Simeone will need to be judging this on the fitness of his bench as well. Does he have options that he can call upon later in the game, or do they want to try and strike quickly and get the result going? Because that will dictate as well the flow of the game quite a bit. And McBride, we've got the predicted 11 for you before this game. You're thinking that maybe Rodgers drops a wee tactical curveball and goes for a 5 at the back, potentially from the beginning.
Yeah, that's kind of how we finished the game at home. Let's see, maybe not. But, it's Turnbull in there at 50%. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we went with Bernardo again. I don't really think it's the type of game for Turnbull, but he's played the last 2 games, and I remember before Hatate was coming back where he started Turnbull away at Aberdeen and stuff like that. So he may well start him, and I just thought there was a good chance that we'd go with the 3 centre backs. The one issue at Parkhead in the second half was after Simeone made the tactical changes, and they were getting down our sort of left hand side pretty easily, and you could see straight away Rodgers actually realised that. He took off Palma. and he brought on Phillips, and people were obviously sort of on that Phillips and stuff. But it was a tactical change, right? It was a way of like try to shore up the defence a wee bit and be a bit more compact. So let's see. I mean, the big loss for me always is just the Satati. Like, you know, sometimes you need somebody to kind of get you up the pitch a wee bit away from home. And O'Reilly's shown that he can play a wee bit deeper. That's graphics probably wrong because O'Reilly's going to play down a bit. But
yeah,
you know, Ibrox, for example, he played pretty deep and he was brilliant. He had like 8 interceptions or something. It was like unbelievable performance. So he's really versatile from that point of view. But I think the issue is going to be sort of getting forward. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Furu and Maeda through the middle, because guys like Palma could end up being a passenger in an away game because you're more under pressure off the ball, you know. Whereas at Parkhead, we did manage to retain a lot of the ball, which makes a huge difference if you're playing in those types of formations. But anyway, I got it completely wrong at the weekend, so it's just a prediction. Like we'll see in like 3 minutes or something. Like, what's happening?
No, but it's a great 50-50 shout because, you know, on the other hand, if he doesn't play Phillips, he probably starts Palma and it's 4-3-3 and it's similar to the last game. And like Michael Ross is saying here, play our own game. And I think we would like to see that. And Ange, Chelsea, Spurs, all that's dominating a lot of conversation today. But I do think that Brendan will learn from group stages gone by, and he might actually be, and I think your 50% shout here is solid, because he might start the game more pragmatic, try and kill the clock, play Simeone his own game, and then later on use the bench to turn up the heat later on in the game and try and snatch something potentially. So you know, I think Rodgers played it. I think Rodgers has played the job so far pretty well in terms of how he's managed matches, made subs and adjusted with the personnel at his disposal. You know, we can maybe question the talent ID and some stuff like that, but
I think there's a couple
I think
of
Brendan's been brilliant.
Well. There's no Novrocki never get registered in the Champions League squad, right? And neither did BrideACE. So not saying BrideACE would be any sort of option, but you've only got limited options, obviously, on the left-hand side. And then over and above that, Lagerbielke's been in and out squads and all that sort of stuff as well. I don't know why. I don't know whether he's picked up some sort of injuries or whatever. But when you've seen, for example, Novrocki was on the bench, I think, at the weekend, or he wasn't on the bench, but then he was back in training. So it's like the hokey-cokey, isn't it? Guys are in and out, and we've got a big squad, so you understand sometimes it can be games where guys are not on the bench and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to go free at the back, then Nat Phillips really, I think, is the only real option for this game, because Lagerbielke's not been playing, Novrocki's not registered. So, you know, if you're going to do that, and also Nat Phillips, whether you like him or not, does give you a bit of height in there as well, you know. So, Madrid do have a good delivery from set plays, guys like Griezmann, etc., who can get the ball in as well. So, and they've got big guys at the back like, you know, Savic, etc. I'm not saying they're prolific guys in terms of scoring for corners, but you've got to be under pressure away from home. We expect that they'll have set plays, they'll have corners, they'll be trying to work the ball wide, all that type of stuff. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. I'll keep a wee eye out here for the actual lineup, see if we can get it as soon as it comes out. But yeah, I mean, whatever we do, I hope it works, because in terms of previous games, I think Rodgers has got the tactics pretty bang on, just as you were saying, Quinny. So
yeah, so I think a lot of the stuff that we've been discussing on this channel, and when I hear other Celtic channels discussing stuff, a lot of the thing is on personnel. Is this guy good enough? Should this guy be playing? Is this the guy we need for a game like this, etc.? But Rodgers' actual decisions on when he makes subs and the team, a lot of the philosophy that he set out to win certain matches, I think he's been really on point with. So that's why I can see some sort of tactical, you know, curveball perhaps maybe come out in this game. Yeah, we're still waiting for the predicted 11s, but I think, like I said a moment ago, as soon as I see a predicted 11, I'll have a much better idea of how good I feel ahead of tonight. You know,
team.
Team's out. I'll get it on screen. I'll get it on screen. Is it on the official Twitter?
Yeah.
Or have you got it somewhere else? Yeah.
No, it's on the official Twitter. I was wrong as well. So
okay,
got attacking.
Screen. So here we go. We've got Joe Hart in goals, Alistair Johnson, Carter Vickers, and Scaler in defence. McGregor, Bernie, and O'Reilly in midfield. Palma, Kyogo, Maeda. So the basically the same team that played the first head of this game. You know, so he's going for same as before. We'll hope to, you know, get the same space that we did. It'll be really interesting to see if we can get Atleti's team on the go as well. So Let me see if theirs is out, because I will be interested to see how they're playing their midfield, how they see the game going for themselves, and if they've learned anything from the first game. Like, they changed the pace by bringing on Correa and Llorente later on in the game against us. Do they start with them on this one? It'd be really interesting to see. So, yeah, their team's not out yet. But, yeah, first thoughts on the team, McBride? Palma, Maeda, Kyogo.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much what I'd expected. Obviously, the sort of three at the back, that was a kind of 50% shout, and Palma was in for the other 50%. So it was kind of between those. I mean, like, I'm hoping we can cause them some problems for that type of formation as well. I guess that, we've said about Palma before, like, he's not the type of guy that's going to beat men and all that sort of stuff. And you compare him with Jota, and Jota maybe could beat a man, but he looks pretty lethal with the old shooting. So I guess from point of view in a away game where you're not going to get a lot of the ball, that could maybe be a wee bit of a game changer, if he can pop up with a moment of magic. But I'm just hoping we're as good on the ball as we were at Parkhead, because what we don't want to be doing is just giving them soft possession, because they're a top team and you'll get hurt against these types of teams if you give them too much of the ball. So we've got to do something with it when we get the ball, try and get ourselves up the pitch. I think the Feyenoord away game, we played pretty well. It was just pretty frustrating that just before half-time we conceded that kind of daft goal from a set play. But if you're in at half-time 0-0 in that game, you would have been quite confident that we'd played pretty well in the first half. Well, we did play well in the first half, but you just remember the sending off and the set-piece goal and that type of stuff. So yeah, let's hope it's another positive performance on the ball. If we get beat and we're pretty much out and everything, everybody will be quite disappointed with that, I think, looking at the group, etc. But I think you can see some progression with this team now. Palma settling down, Hatate a wee bit of a miss, unfortunately. O'Reilly's been pretty much player of the season. Guys like Scales have come out of nowhere and just been absolutely outstanding all season, giving you a bit of squad strength as well with the guys that you can see in the bench. So yeah, I think it's nice and positive, and hope to see a good performance.
Are Atletico really a top team? I would say so. They're
Real
definitely
Madrid.
not like contenders to win the Champions League and then stuff like that. Are they probably one of the weaker pot one teams you're going to come across? I'd probably say so. But in saying that, or maybe Feyenoord even the pot one team in this, technically. I think they were, weren't they? Because they were the Dutch champions.
Well, they won the league, yeah.
So I think technically they were the pot one team. So I think they've done quite well pot-wise, if you know what I mean. But Atleti undeniably are a top team. There's no two ways about it. They'll give anyone in Europe a game. And that's probably their superpower. It probably actually helps us a little bit, as they just play the same regardless of who they're against. So we can score 2 goals against them, but so could whoever else are going to play in the Champions League.
Las Palmas,
Lazio. Las Palmas scored 2 again. They're not. But they could do that against any team. They can scale up, even if they're playing in a semi-final. They'll still play that way, and maybe they can get a result. So maybe for ourselves, it's the sort of team that we can squarely beat. Yeah,
I'd take a draw. I mean, don't want to sound defeatist, etc. Obviously we want to avoid getting a good hammering and stuff as well, because no matter what happens, we're good to actually see a bit of positivity in terms of the performance again. And again, that doesn't get you points. I get that, but those 3 games already have gone, so there's nothing we can do about Lazio at home or whatever. Now that's done and dusted. You've got to focus on this game, see if we can try and get a positive result, and then maybe we'll go into the last 2 games thinking, well, okay, if we get a result against Atletico Madrid, we can go to Lazio, played quite well at home, then the last game's at home. So sometimes just keeping yourself in it can be quite important, because you just give yourself a glimmer, and you just never know with football, right? We've seen stranger things happen than Celtic winning away at Lazio, or Celtic beating Barcelona at home without getting any of the ball, and daft things happen all the time. So maybe we'll get a bit of rub of the green at some point. Never know.
Yeah. Martin's asking if this is a team out, and yes, it is. We're still waiting on the Atleti team, but we've got the Celtic team out here. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really tight midfield, seeing Bernardo, O'Reilly, and McGregor. It's going to be quite similar to what we've seen at Celtic Park. They're probably going to try and keep it quite compact. So again, it's even more onus on Palma to deliver again. Obviously, he's been delivering goals and shots and crosses like we've been mentioning. But, away to Atleti, this is a real test. And hopefully, he's been getting incrementally better. Let's hope that he can do better again tonight. But Kyogo's on a bit of a barn streak. Maeda is on a bit of a barn streak. These guys need to score goals tonight. I think both of them will be itching to get a big Champions League result, with their names stuck to it. And, I think it's a lot of pressure in a good way, depending on your point of view, on Dyson and Kyogo tonight to really go and get the job done. Because both, see for the last month, mate, me and you been pulling out whatever little hair you've got, and obviously for Kyogo and Dyson, not squaring each other on. They're always like they should be tapping each other in for goals every game, and they just refuse to do it. It's absolutely blood boiling stuff. Hopefully they shake that crap out tonight.
Aye, I mean, well, Furuhashi's actually been relatively clinical in the Champions League, so maybe more a sort of criticism levelled at Maeda. But again, you never know. This might be the type of game that actually suits them if Atletico come out a wee bit as well, Because, all right, we never really opened up Atletico much at the end of the game after the 10 men and things, but they're always a well-organised team as well. So from that point of view, if they come on to us a bit, then it's about the sort of the transition. So
they are going with that kind of 3-4-3. Griezmann, Morata, Correa is a front three, midfield two of Barrios and Koke, and then Riquelme, Molina bombing on wide, back three, same as last week. Or no, actually, it's not. Jimenez is in for Savic. Witsel and Hermoso completed. So they're going to attack us a little bit more. That's probably quite good for Maeda and Kyogo.
Yeah, well, I mean, Riquelme was more. He was a guy who was more of a kind of attacking type wing back or winger.
Yes,
Molina obviously, so done pretty well for Argentina and stuff as well. Witsel's more of a converted midfielder, so he's more of a ball playing type guy there. He used to play in midfield all the time, and then the other guys are defenders. But they've got a lot of guys in the attacking areas as well. So I guess that'll be the big challenge. Is going to be, Greg Taylor area and the sort of left back, and Johnson's pretty solid, but I don't think he's on his best form at the moment. I don't know. I'm just kind of getting the feeling that he's not really fully not confident, or I don't know. I don't feel as if he's absolutely on his best form. But I guess from the defensive point of view, that's the best point in his game. So where I'd be quite worried is probably if Palma's on the left-hand side, protection for Taylor. So it'll be interesting to see what sides Maeda and Palma play in terms of maybe try to help out a wee bit with the fullbacks and things with all those sort of attacking players that they've got. But it's exciting. Champions League night, and we play all season to try and get in the Champions League. So let's enjoy it. Let's not be a Frank Brennan and assume we're getting beat 7-0 before the game's even started. Sorry, Frank.
I hope we kind of cheat on this one if they are going to attack like that, because like you say, Riquelme on that left-hand side was basically playing like a forward, and then if they're playing Griezmann, Morata and Correa, who's just a bit of a whippet as well, then like Johnson can go man for man with Riquelme in terms of how you're lining up defensively. And if you can tuck Maeda and Kyogo into this front three here and give them hell, with Palma being not too far behind, then there's some opportunities here to be had with the difference in style, because that midfield three for them made it quite hard for us to play through the middle. I don't think it'll be much easier tonight, don't get me wrong, but O'Reilly and Bernardo, they might actually be able to do something from the centre of the play, actually feeding the forwards from deeper, if it's a little bit less crowded in there now by one body.
Yeah, I think the thing you missed with Hatate as well, we seen at the home game, Furuhashi was making runs, nobody found him. So what Hatate's good at is kind of getting the ball half turn and then playing the ball into a channel or playing like a good forward pass. So I think what the midfield need to do is when they win the ball back, they need to be getting the head up and looking and saying, where's Maeda, where's Furuhashi, and actually try and get the ball up to the other half of the pitch and try and get some possession to come out for there. But you just don't know. These types of games, I feel as if actually they do suit Maeda a bit more, because his top attribute probably is pressing the ball, and he can cause loads of issues against anybody really, if he's given any space, because he's a maniac. So Captain Chaos. But he'll either put the ball in the top corner or he'll decapitate somebody in Rosette. But that's just the type of guy he is, right? But he puts in a huge amount of hard work. So hopefully he can help out a wee bit in some of those fullback areas in terms of the defensive side of things. But we can actually do something when we've got the ball. So
The Wanda Metropolitano is a 70,460 seater stadium. So yeah, it's a beauty, isn't it? It's a good one. So 3,500 Tims we've got over there. Someone's put times, but I think it was a wee bit of a misprint. In Madrid tonight, so hopefully they'll be there to cheer the boys on, and hopefully the away fans in the Wanda have got a good spot when they're not put up in the gods like Real Madrid done and Barcelona normally do.
The full stadium was full of Celtic fans. Honestly, I went to that game and we'd kind of went on the VPN and pretended we were in another country. So we were sitting in beside the Real Madrid end, and I was kind of sitting in, and you're like, right, we've got white tops on, we'll blend in here, don't talk too loud. And then a guy comes in, takes his tracksuit top off, Celtic top on, starts singing songs. It's supposed to be a VIP area, but I mean, whoever Jota scored that goal, people were celebrating across the stadium. So there'll be more than 3,500 Celtic fans at this game, I would imagine. But and it's didn't actually see that stadium, but as you're going into Madrid, you can see it from a distance, and it's bloody impressive. So yeah, it's going to be a night to remember, I think, for everybody. Let's just hope nice positive performance and enjoy it.
If we're going to get a hero tonight, McBride, who is it going to be?
I think probably have to be Matt O'Reilly, to be honest. Like, the guy's just been so good this season. I don't know. I just feel as if he's moved his game up a level and been able to do as well as he's done in the home game at Parkhead and the away game at Ibrox. Like, as you know, it was sort of taking back to fancy football, but you see guys and they play in these games and they're scoring well, and then they play these games, their scores are rubbish. But he scored better in these games, and he's such a good all-round midfielder. So if there's anybody that would deserve it, if he came up with a moment of magic, it would be him. But probably between him and maybe Palma, the guy must be absolutely full of confidence after that goal at the weekend. And all right, maybe his strengths aren't sort of running quick or dribbling or beating a guy or whatever, but that's the boy can shoot. he can shoot. So that we might need something. We might need something there, to be honest. So there we go. What do you think?
I'm going to take a hopeful hero of the game is Scales. I'd love Scales to get a goal in this game tonight, man. I'd love Scales to get a goal from a corner. Palma whipping. He almost scored an Olympico at the weekend. He almost whips a corner right in the top bag. If he fires one of them in, big Scales can get on the end of it. I can see it, man. I'd be all about that.
How good has he been, though? I mean, it's kind of a bit baffling as well from a point of view, in terms of how he's managed to come in and be so good. But I think he's been brilliant. And even just looking at him closely in that home game, you get the ball and he'd be under pressure. It's not like he's playing a game in Scotland that gets the ball and he was really under pressure. And I can't recall him doing anything really too drastic at any point. He was always quite comfortable in the ball. So yeah, an absolute, an unbelievable find or revelation really this season, to be honest. So yeah, that would be good.
And we'll finish off, McBride, with some sort of score prediction. Now, we've seen that Atleti are going to go for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a matter of how many we concede and how many we can score. Last time I went for a low-scoring 2-2 draw, and I feel quite good about that. After the kind of shootout. Yeah, because I get stick up a handle for that, because I said, I feel this will be a low-scoring game, and then I picked 2-2, and he thought that was quite funny. But that was kind of the way it went, wasn't it? It was kind of a low-scoring game that ended up 2-2 somehow. So I think this kind of feels like the same kind of game. Atleti are going to push the boat. They're going to try and win the game off of us, but we do have weapons also. So I've got a feeling a draw is nigh also. I really cannot work out how many goals are going to go in, so I'm just going to say one each.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be negative, but I do think we're playing against a good team. So I think there'll be a few goals. I think it'll be one of these, maybe a kind of 3-2 type result. So, I think I hope it's on Celtic's side, but realistically, with my hat on, I think I would say Atletico will probably sneak it. But I hope we do go and we score a couple of goals and we play well and we enjoy the game. But yeah, I would say they should edge us out by the odd goal. Hope I'm wrong.
Scales from 60 yards, love it. Yeah, no, I hope you're wrong, but I think that's the reality part of the prediction game when it comes to Celtic in Europe is someone's got to cover that base of we're going to get our arse handed to us. So well done, McBride, for taking
Well,
that bullet for us.
C2 away is not. I mean, it's fair to say that there's not a lot of teams that have got good Champions League away records. So Celtic's main priority, I think, is to improve the home record and start putting 7 and 9 points on the board at home, giving yourself a chance to get out of groups. But like we'll deal with tonight, and let's go and show them that we're a good team as well. That's what we need to do.
That's it. If you are in Madrid and you're listening to this, stay safe, have fun, and everyone else, wherever you're watching the game, have fun. Try not to be too hungover for tomorrow, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. McBride, it's been a pleasure.
Hail. Enjoy the game.